Okay guys, so the next thing that we're going to talk about are resources. Resources are extremely important because the resources are what actually build your second brain. So what does that mean? Basically anything that you find online, that you read, any video that you watch, so any course, any online course that you take, you're gonna actually gather information and gather your notes as resources, and then you're gonna tag that resource and you're gonna actually link it to your projects, to your areas, to your knowledge lab, to all of these other things. So the way you access resources is by either clicking here, opening this, or clicking here. You could also access the resources. Let's say for example that you're working on a project or working on this project. If you use the template when you created the project, you're gonna see here project resources. You can toggle it and you're gonna see those resources here. There aren't any resources for this project because we haven't added any, but we can add many resources and just link them to areas, projects, and other things. Let's click here on resources and look at this page. So here we have basically the main database. This database it's not filtered right now. We have all resources and it's sorted by status, but you could actually just have it without any kind of sorting when you click here. Remember you can add views of this database. We'll add one after I explain the different things that this database has. So let's say for example that, let's show you a little bit what these things are. So I have here a resource which is a book that I'm reading. So we can open it or we can actually modify it from here, but let's open it. Here what I like to do is I actually add the name of the book. I actually add the cover as the icon because I like how it looks. I add an image, I give it a status, but the most important part here, so your resources are sorted out correctly, is that you give it a type. You can change the name of this, but I like to call it a type, which is what type of resource we're talking about. So here it could be an article, a video, a podcast, a course, a book. In my personal one, I have many other different types. Sometimes I just categorize a resource as a tool. For example, if I find a great tool that I think I'm gonna be able to use in the future, I just tag it as a tool. Let's add that category here. So let's create a tool and let's say this is a tool. This isn't, but let's add that category so you can see. So let's, for example, add a tool. Let's say that you just found out what SendFox is and you're building your business, so you want to save that resource in your resources database and link it to the business that you're building. So let's say we can name it sendfox.com, for example, and we're going to say what kind of resource is this. This is a tool I'm going to use eventually. We haven't talked about the knowledge lab, but the knowledge lab is an area of interest that I have in my life, but isn't something that I'm consistently working on. It's just a way of saving similar resources together. So it's kind of like a tagging system, but this would be related to marketing probably, or business creation. So we could tag it with business creation, we could tag it with marketing. Then we're gonna just say that this has a status of not started because I don't want it jumped up because it's sorted by status. It's over here because not started because I wanted to have a red tag so I know that this is something that I need to review in the future. And this is related to your new business idea because this is a resource that you want to see when you open your business idea and you're looking for things that are resources that are helping you on this area. You want to see it there. You you want it to appear in that specific area, you just need to tag it here. So your business idea, it's already here. And this could be also related to a project. So let's say that it's related to this project. It really isn't, but let's say it's related to the project of the September 29th week newsletter. So here you could actually have a link. So we can say sendfox.com. That would make it easier for us to click and go to SendFox later. And that's it. Basically, that's a resource that it's going to show in our business creation or marketing knowledge lab, and it's going to show on on this area, your business idea. It's also going to show in the projects link. You want to test it, you can go to, let's go to areas, for example. Let's go to your business idea, and if we come here, we're going to see that we have a project within this. Oh no, we don't have a project, sorry. We haven't added a project for that, but we added a resource for this. And it should be here. Yeah, it's showing it perfectly. It's sendfox.com. If we click here, we have it here. We can go to SendFox. We can actually add notes to this resource, and we could say this is a great email marketing tool. So that's pretty much it for the resources. I'm gonna go to my personal account, and I'm gonna show you all of my resources, because I think this is a very important thing to understand. As you can see here, I have a bunch of resources. I have things related to this area, I have things that aren't related to any areas. For example, these are just books that I'm reading or I want to read, or podcast episodes, or pretty much anything that aren't related to areas, are just related to knowledge labs. That's the magic of the resources database, is that you can basically input anything that has value for you, or that you think it's going to have value for you in the future, and you can put it here. As you can see, this is a very extensive resource. I have way more than 100 and something. I probably have like 500 resources here, but yeah, this is basically a really great way of gathering knowledge and actually sorting it out, because if you just save it on a list, that list is just going to get super big like this. I would never access any of these resources from this list. I would access it from a project, from an area, or from my second brain, or from something like that. So in your resources, when you click here, you can actually add different views. I like to have one for books, so I have my books view. I have it here. These are just books that and I think it's sorted. It's the books that I've already read and tagged as done shouldn't be here. Let's see the filter. So yeah, oh no, yeah. So basically, no, I haven't tagged many books as reviewed. So yeah, this is great, because if I wanna like see notes about this book that I'm reading right now, for example, while I'm reading, I'm actually taking notes. So yeah, here I have all of my notes for this book. I'm almost done with it, but this makes it way easier for me to remember what this book was about. And if in a couple months or even weeks I'm not gonna remember anything, probably, so I can come back here, and after I finish, I usually do this. I took this idea from Ali Abdaal. He has a great YouTube channel, but basically I try to summarize the book in 3 sentences. That's usually not, like, I usually do 5 or 6 sentences, and I have impressions. I write how this book changed my life, and I write 3 quotes from the book that I really like. So if I just want to come back in a year or 2 or 10 and I want to read and refresh the knowledge from this book, it's in my resources tab, and I can easily find it by just looking at my books tab. I have also one for courses. But basically I usually don't use the resources tab from here, because there are too many resources and it gets impossible to deal with that. The resources tab is extremely important, not only because it's going to show on your projects, but because it's going to show on your second brain. And we're going to see the second brain later today on a different class, but basically this is your second brain. And what this is just the same database, which is a resources database, shown in different ways with different filters. So this is the same database, but here it has a filter to only show me books that are not started, that are not archived, that are not paused, and that aren't reviewed. And here it's filtered to only show me, it's the same database, remember, where the type contains podcast and the status is not reviewed or archived. So it's showing me podcasts that I'm currently listening to, or that I have not started. So sometimes I'm just bored and I say, oh, what can I do? I don't want to do anything. I'll just listen to podcasts. I don't want to go and see, oh, what good podcast could I listen to? No, I just come here and I see, oh, there's a bunch of podcasts that aren't started or that I'm currently listening to, and I want to finish them. So here it's an easier way to look at it. So that's why the second brain is so powerful. It's just that same resources tab, but filtered in many different ways, so you have quick access to all of that information. That's it for this class. If you have any questions, remember, you can always ask me, but I think the resources tab is one of the most important ones, because, and it's very important that you keep it very clean and that you keep it in, like, you're consistent with your tagging and all of that.